We'd been getting a lot of feedback from our customers about what was going on with SMS and kind of the general use, and also the feedback from their customers who were really pushing back and saying, we're not going to use SMS for one-time codes or various parts of their business. So we felt, well, let's find out what that really means, because to be honest, although we were seeing some of these very large customers saying that they were going to stop using it, we weren't actually seeing that in the statistics. So we asked Mobile Squared to do some research for us, really to look at the attitudes. Are you concerned about fraud? Are you concerned about conversion rate? Are you concerned about cost? Which channel is actually the most effective, that is going to get read, that is absolutely ubiquitous in its opportunity to reach a subscriber? Those platform providers and applications providers were really finding their customers making a choice based upon effectiveness more than any risk or any cost basis. The real challenges to the SMS market as a whole seem to fall into a couple of primary categories. The first one has been the issue of fraud. It has been inflated traffic, but it's still really only a very few companies that have directly experienced this particular problem. The second has been around price. I think that also has to be put in context. And one of the things which Mobile Squared have very clearly identified is that really these price hikes are just in a small proportion. Yeah, the prices have definitely gone up. Yes, the average has definitely gone up, but in some of the major marketplaces, it has actually been relatively stable. But again, it's creating a perception, and I think it's very important to actually look at the facts and the statistics behind that perception to make sure that you recognise the reality of it. We as a company, our business has always been around some very simple information. What can I tell you about a phone number? Is it actually valid? Is it a number that's worth sending messages to? That very, very simple qualification has a huge effect on one of these issues, the artificial inflation of traffic. Many of the algorithms that are generating these automated bursts of traffic simply don't recognise what's a real number and what's not. So on the one hand, you can actually catch a lot of that traffic, and we're seeing sort of 10 to 15% in some cases. The other is that it's a very good indicator. So where you see a burst of traffic that has clearly some undeliverable, unaddressable traffic within it, that should tell you to look out for the rest of that traffic. The second part of this is really around the routing. So if you know who the terminating operator is for a particular message, you can ensure that you can see that end-to-end path. You can optimize that path to ensure that you know all of the organizations involved in the delivery of the message. Those services are then developing further, because where we're then looking at what else can we tell you about those numbers? What additional information? Is it actually reachable right now? If the phone's not switched on or not available at that moment, no point in sending a one-time code. You've got to find another channel to actually deliver through. Just those very simple checks that can be carried out before you choose to send a message or make a call or whatever else have a very direct impact just in basic costs. When you then take into account the risk that you might actually be sending to a premium rate number or some kind of revenue share number, then instead of 2 or 3 cents, we're now talking $2 or $3 for a termination, then that has a huge impact. So we're seeing that return on doing some very simple checks can have some drastic impact on an organisation's costs.